Welcome back to Hometown Happenings. I'm Carol McCarthy here today at the Buffalo River downstream with Lowell Deede once again. We're out and about taking some samples of water. And Lowell, how far, let's talk a little bit. We've been talking to you about a little over a month ago at the head of the Buffalo River and had some nice crystal clear readings of the water.
Yes.
Describe a little bit about where we're at right now.
Okay, we're at the Buffalo River on County Highway 12. There are actually 22 different road crossings in Becker County where the Buffalo crosses either a State Highway 59 or county highways or township roads. And this is the last crossing before the Buffalo River flows into Clay County. And so it has changed significantly from a clearer flowing river this spring to kind of a muddy brown soup right now.
And in the last little over a month, I mean, we've had some considerable rainfall.
Right. There's probably two components that are the dominant contributors to the river's transparency. One is in-stream scouring and bank sloughing, and the second one is probably from agricultural runoff and sedimentation coming from farm fields, from ag fields. We don't have any ongoing construction along the Buffalo River right now, so there's no contribution from that element. So I think it pretty much narrows down to those two as being the primary contributors.
Okay, and you've taken today. You've been to the headwaters, and you've been kind of in between the two, off County Road 14, and now we're at the lower part of the Buffalo. So we're getting samples from 3 different areas, and we're going to see kind of the samples after we take this sample too.
Sure. Yes. When I took the sample up at the refuge this morning with the transparency tube, I read 92, which is a little bit degraded from a month ago when we first looked at it. But the beaver had plugged up the culvert up there, and so there's some elements probably related to that. And further downstream on Highway 14, the Buffalo actually goes through some fairly significant cuts in the landscape, and there has been higher sediment loads, which are indicated by lower transparency numbers looking at the transparency tube. So we'll go ahead and take a sample here.
All right, throw the bucket over. You
right.
Be careful you don't fall in.
Right. I don't need to start doing that.
There's some cliff diving here with Lowell Deede.
Okay, that's a pretty brown color. What I like to do is just have a rinse from a first perspective, so I'll just dump this out and then I'll throw it back.
All right. Okay, we're down here south of the Buffalo River, south of the headwaters that we were at a month and a half ago with Lowell Deede, taking a sample downstream of the Buffalo River. We've had some significant rain fall in the last month, a little over a month, and this is kind of the outcome of that.
I didn't get a full bucket load with that.
All right. Okay, one more try. Here we go. You kind of like doing that.
Yeah.
All right, taking the bucket sample, and then we're going to compare these 3 samples that you've taken today, and just look at the difference. And it's quite amazing, the different areas of the Buffalo. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll check out the samples next on Hometown Happenings.
Hello, I'm Jim Herman with Do Right Construction. Let us help you enjoy the outdoors this summer by creating an outdoor living space like a deck or a 3-season porch. We specialize in residential and light commercial construction. At Do Right Construction, we do it all and we do it right.
Welcome back to Hometown Happenings, here with Lowell Deede at the downstream of the Buffalo River, and we just took a sample in the first half. Now we're going to check that sample, and then we're going to explain a little bit about the water clarity and what the data is used. And Lowell is a volunteer water monitor with the MPCA and has been going through looking at the Buffalo River on a weekly and daily basis and collecting data that will be used by the state and This is a way to check the clarity right now is what we're doing. He gets the equipment from the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. So we've got here,
Okay.
you're going to put in the little disc.
Yep. And I need to have it in the shade or in the my back to the sun. Looking at it, what I'm going to do is lower the Secchi disc until I can't see it anymore. And it quickly goes out of sight, about right there. And by holding the string to the edge and then reading it on the graduated scale here, it's 10 centimeters. So earlier this spring, I had a reading here on the buffalo of full tube, 100 centimeters or greater than 100, and now we're only at 10. So the amount of sediment in the river is pretty significant right now, and it fairly recently has gotten to this point.
All right, and so you're going to pour that water back in the bucket, and then we're going to compare them to the other samples that Lowell has taken today, one from the headwaters and then one in the midway, County 14, and then this one at the end of the Buffalo, before the Buffalo goes into Clay County, off County Road 12, and we'll look and see at the different clarity levels. And then Lowell, this data, working with the MPCA, the data, what they're looking for is a couple of different categories, and you'll explain a little bit about that too. But let's look at each bucket here, Lowell.
Yeah, the first one, when I took the reading this morning, it was at 92, and that's about right there. You could see from the top of the tube down to this point. And when the second one, that was a reading of right at 30, and that was about 7 miles downstream of the site where I had taken it at Tamarack. And now here, we were up at 10. And so, yeah. And the sediment load was a lot more significant down here.
So we've got a couple minutes left, Lowell, and I know there's a lot more we could say this time around, but so this data, once again, you're collecting the data, you write it down on a sheet, send it into the MPCA, and it is used to monitor water quality.
Yes.
Ultimately.
Yep.
And what are the couple categories that they look for?
A couple of things that they'd like to have us record, as well as the transparency number, are appearance, and whether the appearance is good water quality or good appearance, somewhat tea-colored, whether it's cloudy, muddy, green from an algae standpoint, and we're looking here at the buffalo here. I would call this, it's a muddy situation. Up at County 14, that was a cloudy kind of situation, and at Tamarack it was a 1B, kind of tea-colored appearance-wise. And the second one is recreational suitability, related to swimming and body contact. 1 is great, 2 is somewhat impaired. 3, what I would say here is it would be a class 4, where you'd go on boat in it, but you wouldn't want to go swimming in it. And a 3 is it's good, recreational suitability.
Okay, so there's 5 different categories, 5 different levels, and we have here everything from 1 down to probably 4.
To 4, yeah. Yeah.
All right, so there you have it, Lowell Deede on the lookout as a volunteer water monitor with the MPCA, going through the summer and monitoring our area waters, our streams, especially the Buffalo River, and we'll visit with you again as the summer progresses and see where we're at. Thanks, Lowell.
Sounds great. Yeah, thank you.
For Hometown Happenings, I'm Carol McCarthy.